Hello, my name is Kalepa Baybayan. I'm one of the captains and navigators, one of the leaders for this project. Well, we're part of the Polynesian Voyaging Society. Hōkūleʻa is the iconic voyaging canoe. It's a modern-day reconstruction of a traditional deep-sea-based voyaging canoe. Our project that we're currently on in this the next year, and it's a 3-year project, is called Mālama Honua, Caring for Your Place. Caring for the planet. It's about raising environmental awareness based upon the stewardship of the world's oceans. The world's oceans is the #1 regulator and processor for climate change. It's also the #1 incubator for the world's oxygen. As we travel from community to community, we like to engage with those communities, identify different organizations that are doing good work to steward the planet, and learn more about each other and share who we are.
So when you learn about wayfinding, you always learn about observation. And you can't tell that a storm's coming just by looking at a cloud. You have to look at change in time, what you saw a couple hours ago and what you see now. And so what we learn to do is at sunrise, you observe the sky, the swells, the wind, the colors. And then as the day changes, you start looking at changes in the sky. And at sunset is when you make a decision what you think is going to happen that night and what sails to use and what to tell your crew to do. It takes years and years and years of practice, but we're slowly starting to learn and predict if a storm's coming, if the wind's shifting, but it's a really hard thing to do.
Our system of navigation is a hybrid system. It's based upon tradition and it's based upon science. And you can step between the two worlds, that both are not disconnected. I would just say that our traditional knowledge is highly connected to spirituality, whereas Western science is not. And that's the primary difference between the way I see the two different paradigms, but they are connected.
What we do all year long is we continually observe the night sky and what should be out there. So on a cloudy day like today, all of a sudden, if one star should pop out, you need to know exactly what that star is, and that will help you find your way. So it can be the best gift when there's a break in the sky, but if you have no break in the sky, then that's when you start to use the waves and the wind and other cues from nature.
You really don't know what clues you're going to use to navigate by, and when it occurs, and you just gotta say, okay, let's go with it. One night when we were navigating in the dark, trying to find out, we knew where the island was, but it was pitch dark. There was no moon, but we knew this island was uninhabited, so it had a lot of birds. So we basically navigated on the sound of the birds flying back to the island. If you can slow your pulse down on the canoe to the rhythm of the natural environment, to the rhythm of the universe. I mean, for me, it helps organize and get me into this zone of being in the natural environment.
Well, anytime you get offshore, and I mean away from the islands, 50 plus miles and continents and all that, the sky is completely dark of anything other than just the stars. It's this beautiful, magical thing, and when it's dry and you're moving comfortably, it's just this great thing. That's why I like the 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. watch. When that happens, and the crew is all sleeping, and I can balance the sail and nobody's moving on deck, the canoe will track nice and straight. And basically, we have a little bit of a break from a lot of the heavy work of running the canoe. and we could actually sit down and really enjoy the night sky. It's magical.
In Hawaii, we call it kuleana, which means responsibility. So when you're given this gift to even learn, to be bringing it into this world and learn this sacred knowledge, you take it very seriously. And so for us, it's an honor. It's a big responsibility to make sure that we perpetuate and pass on what our teachers work so hard to bring back. And so there's a good group of us that are committed to making sure that we pass it to the next generation. And it's the most freeing thing to be out in the open ocean. You don't even miss technology. You don't even want to go back to it.
What my people come from is a tradition that the ocean doesn't separate us, whether it's just a means to connect many islands. Living on a canoe, you're living on an enclosed ecosystem. In other words, everything you need for survival needs to be brought on board the canoe. It needs to be taken care of. You need to rely on your stewardship of the provisions so that you can last a voyage of many weeks. And then once you arrive on land, it's that same process of caring for the people on board the canoe gets transplanted to island living. And so an island is nothing more than a canoe, surrounded by an ocean. And lastly, if you extend that thinking, our planet really is nothing more than an island floating in a sea of space.